Alright y'all, today we're going to make a server on a virtual machine for NASCAR Racing 2003. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, I have VMware Workstation Pro, so we're just going to go through that. And we're going to set up a new virtual machine. And the way I like to do it is using Workstation 17.5 and using Windows 10 Tiny. So you can download that and then run your typical Windows activation key and it'll activate just like Windows, because it's just stripped down. So let's go to a machine that I designated for space, because these take up a good bit of space. I have a separate drive that I put all of them on, and we're just going to go to VMs, machines, and I have net.pui VM4 already made right there for me. So we're going to go to next. All you're going to need is about 60 gigabytes. It doesn't take any more than that. And we're going to customize the hardware a little bit. So let's go to the memory. I'm going to allocate about 8 gigs because that's more than enough. One single processor, and we're going to do 8 cores. And the only reason we're doing that is to make the install go faster. Once we get it up and running, these run on 2 cores very well. So if you wanted to save a little bit of hardware for the rest of it, it'll work just fine. For some reason this doesn't work on this processor. It works great on my Xeon, so we're just going to leave this unchecked, but you're going to want to virtualize the Intel and virtualize the memory management. It just makes it run a little bit better. So now that we've customized our hardware, we can finish, and it's going to make its disk, and I'll get back to you when that's done. Alright, now we have our virtual machine set up, and we can actually go over here and name it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I am going to rename it net.pui VM4. Just makes it a little bit more manageable when it comes to figuring out what machine you have. And let's power it on and run through the Windows setup. And of course you can just use a Windows key like anything else. Make sure you click on the window to get your controls into the VM, and if you click Alt and Control at the same time, it releases your mouse back to your host machine, so your regular computer. So let's just go through and we will activate Windows here, or install Windows I should say. And I can make this hide somehow. We won't worry about that. Oh, there it is. So let's go through and accept our licenses. Spacebar, tab, next. And we can go down to install Windows Custom is what you're going to want to do. Do the 60 gigabyte drive that we made, and it's pretty much just going to run through the install, and it will give you a smaller version of Windows 10 that doesn't take up as much space. Alright, now that we installed that, we're going to go ahead and reboot and go through the process again. Now we are booting the further installation process here. So we are in the United States. We don't want a second keyboard layout. Tab is to go to the next section. Space is to change the input, and enter is to proceed. So who's going to use this PC, Smitty? Super memorable password. And it's going to go through security questions, and you're just going to go through that, and then it will give you some other options. Alright, now that we've gotten through that, it's going to go through a bunch of different settings. So we really don't need the advertising and we really don't need the tailored experiences, so I usually just shut them off. You can leave them all on if you want. It's really not that important. Hi. And so what it's going to do is it's going to get everything put together and it's going to start booting the operating system for us. So it says it might take several minutes. It usually isn't that long. Alright, so now that we're on the desktop, we're going to go to the Windows. You can just go down to the Start menu here and type in Activation Settings. And as you guys can see, Windows is not activated. You'll have to actually input your key and activate Windows. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, now Windows is activated, so we can change it to dark mode, because this light mode is not good at all. I can't stand it. So let's do that. And then we can also change our display settings to 1920 by 1080. And I like to have that. I like it to be blind people mode. So once that's all taken care of, we're going to have to bring our mouse all the way to the top. And I'm going to go to VM, install VMware tools, and that just helps the mouse and the keyboard. You don't have to do it, but it helps. We're just going to go ahead and install that. And once we're done installing it, it'll shut the machine down, and we'll fire it back up and do that. Actually, while this is installing, I am going to do a pin. Set up pin sign in, because I don't like typing out a whole password. And let's finish. Yes. And the machine will restart, and we'll just fire it back up and keep on going. Alright, now we're back to the desktop, and as you can see, I put my background with the machine that I'm running. So if you have the VMware tools, you can just drag a file in from your host computer, so that's nice to have. That's why I bought VMware. So while we're doing this, let's go and grab Radmin. We're going to need that, and we're going to need a legal copy of NR2003. Alright, this is our legal copy of Radmin VPN, which is free. It's just you can download it for free, doesn't cost anything, and it's easy to use. So let's do that. Alright, I downloaded the necessary stuff for us to install, but before I forget, let's go to our PC name and make sure we fix that first. So this is, for me, so you can name it whatever you want, of course, but for me, that's what I'm doing. And it's going to ask you to restart, and we'll just go ahead and do that. And let's go verify that that worked. It sure did. So that's going to be important here in a second. So let's go to our File Explorer that we pinned down to the bottom here. Windows E if you didn't. So let's go to our Radmin setup. And as you can see, since we named our PC that, it comes up like this. It just makes it so much easier to work with. And we're going to allow this network. And I'm going to join a network. So the network name is Passing Under NR. And the password for it is NR2003. So capital NR 2003. Everybody's welcome to join. So here we are, we're net.pui VM4, and I can see myself on the VPN on this other PC over here, so it looks like we're good. And we can just go ahead and close that for. Alright, and of course we had to find a legal copy of NR2003, so we found that. Let's just go ahead and extract it. And the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to this, auto run, run, install, yes. The noisy .wave file. Yes, we heard it. Next. Yes. And just leave it right there in the C drive. And you're going to install your CD key. So I'm going to go ahead and install mine. You guys install yours and I'll be right back. Alright, I put in my key and this is our next prompt. Is Papyrus NR2003 season. Just going to go ahead and set that up. It's pretty quick. It's an old game. And we do not want to put a shortcut on. We do not want to register this. And we do not want the updates. No, I don't want to restart. And let's exit this stuff and go back to our downloads folder, back to our extracted NR2003, and we're going to have to go to the patches. So the first patch that you do is this update right here. I agree. Same folder that NR was loaded to. And I don't really care. We don't have to view the README file. So finish, and then the next one you do is the 1201 fix. Oops. And now that that's finished, we can go to our this, and we'll just go ahead and copy it. And then we're going to have to go to this PC, local disk C, Papyrus, NR2003 season, and we're going to click once, wait, click again, right arrow, parenthesis 0, end parenthesis, enter. Then Control V to paste NR into here. You don't want to paste it into any of these. That's really annoying. So now that that's set up there, we have to do our config. You're going to want to do this. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do 1920 by 1080. And you can run this in windowed mode after you get it all set up. And what this is going to do is it's just going to measure our textures. Sometimes it takes a minute, so just be cautious of that. On this VM, it seems to be running pretty quick. So that one ran pretty quick. We don't have to worry about that right now. And all I want to do is open up our NR2003 game. Alright, once we get here, it should do it when it launches, but we can just do it from the options menu here. It will ask you about your controls. So the first thing you're going to have to do is go to Advanced. You'll escape the first prompt in Advanced, and you're going to have to use any keys for driving input. Make sure you do that. And then that will allow you to use keyboard keys. So I have A and D for steering. You have to set your steering or else it doesn't like it. And then you're going to have to go over to player info and just change your player info. It just makes it a little bit easier to read once you're in the server. And then once you're done with that, you can exit, and we can show you the utilities. So what we can do is I have a folder full of utilities in my Discord. Everybody's welcome to it. I can put it on my website if anybody wants. But I'll have a link down to the adjustments under red Discord. So let's go ahead and just open up our NR utilities and use them. So extract all, extract, and once we have the utilities here, we're just going to, oh, if it'll cooperate, kind of scroll down to a spot where it's not going to go into a folder, because if you put one of these in a folder and lose it, it's awful. So we're just going to take core and we're going to drag it, and we're going to replace file and destination. And then we're going to skip player. We're going to go rend.dxg, and we're going to do the same thing, replace file and destination. And then we're going to scroll up to players, since we already made our own player. And we're going to go in here and just simply drag it. And what these files do, they make your graphics good, they make your server run good, and they also just generally make everything operate a little bit better, especially for modern hardware. So what that's going to do is, let's open up our C drive. Oh no, I should probably go to the right thing. And Papyrus, and our 2003 season. And now we'll have to open up and double check and make sure it's still running, because it'll crash if it goes in wrong. And again, we'll have to go through this because something changed, of course. Usually on my server this doesn't bother to give me a hard time, but sometimes it does. So we're just going to click done, and then I'm going to show you guys how to set up the server. Alright, so now that we have NR set up, we can do this. We can launch a server. So let's go to the server and open that up. We're going to get errors like this a little bit here and there. And try not to click away, because it is an absolute disaster if you try to do that. So we'll click those, we'll go to configure, detect serial ports, make sure that's on. And if a serial port comes up, just change it to the highest dial-up setting that's available. This is dial-up, is how this worked, but we're running it on a modern VPN. And since it asked us to restart it, let's restart it. We're going to allow access through the firewall for this program. Just going to exit out of that, and let's set up a server. So because we have Radmin running, we can simply just make a server. So let's go to start, and we'll just do Atlanta, show options, and we'll do 33 laps, happy hour. We'll have some computer opponents, 22 of them. You can add more, you can add less, depends on how many people you want in the server. And we're going to click this up to about 90, because that's the level that they seem to be competitive at. So realistic. My server is actually better at running this, to be honest. I'm surprised. It has a older processor on it too. So we'll just continue, and then that should launch the server. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit our VM, and I'm going to show you exactly what's going on here. So since our VM is running, let's run on top of that our game. And I have it here in Papyrus, and our 2003. It's going to give me a hard time because I changed my inputs, but let's just go to multiplayer. And since we're on the same VPN, it should just pop right up for us. Atlanta. Perfect. So let's go ahead and do that. And it loads right in. Oh, no, that was loading to myself. Sorry. So make sure you choose the right one because it's going to try and load everybody on the same VPN. So you can see the quality's down on me. It's because I'm running it on the same PC. But if you're running this on a different PC and you have buddies that are logging in, it runs just fine. But since we're running two network servers on the same connection, it's a little bit weird. So sorry about the strange graphics going on here, but this should work for you. And let's go back to our virtual machine because that one was kind of struggling a little bit. So we can exit this. We really don't need this up anymore. That was just to prove that it works and that we were connected. But yeah, here we are in our virtual machine again. And it seems to run. You can just back out anytime you want. It'll kick everybody out. And then if you back out again, it closes up the server. If you guys have any questions or you want to join a race or anything, be sure to join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. We play around with NR all the time, and we absolutely love it. So be sure to join us. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe.